folks, and welcome to the Horror Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen. This week we are doing the return of the Halloween tag, which was created by David Diggs. Great guy, David Diggs. He's the one that did the intro for my Horror Corner. And he also did the intro for the Morbid Hour live stream. Great guy, multi-talented. He's also a musician. He plays guitar. He can sing great. Yeah, very talented guy. And this is a great way to kick off the Halloween season. Before we get started, I want to tag some people. I do want to tag everyone over at the Horror Hangout, that being Jen's Reviews from the Grave, and the Horror Miser Monty G, the Trash Picture Show, and Trivial Theater. And also the guys at the Morbid Hour live stream, Horror Fan 88 and Hellhounds. You guys are it. You're tagged. So first question is, are you a superstitious person? Not really. I do find superstitions to be interesting, and I find it fascinating. I like reading things about it, but I don't actually really believe in it because I've never really seen anything to make me believe it, honestly. But I will say I do believe in psychics and mediums and things like that. I do believe people have the ability to like tell the future or speak with people who have passed on, things like that. Yeah, because I have met some psychics, and yeah, I do find it very interesting, and I do believe in it. I believe it's possible. Um, Number two is Ghostbusters is hiring. Would you apply for the job? um, and do you believe in ghosts? So first, I don't believe in ghosts. I've never seen a ghost in my life. But again, I find it interesting. I find the paranormal investigation, stuff like that, ghost hunting, stuff like that. I always find that to be interesting, but I don't actually believe in it because I've never really seen anything like that. So I wouldn't apply for the job because I'm not really the right guy for the job because I don't actually believe in ghosts. So, best vampire movie, hell yeah! Now that is going to be Horror of Dracula, and just got this brand new Horror of Dracula action figure featuring the legendary Christopher Lee as Count Dracula. Um, I did an unboxing video for this, so check that one out. So yeah, Horror of Dracula from 1958 is the ultimate vampire movie for me. And what are some gateway horror films to suggest to someone apprehensive about horror? So I always think a great way to start it off is the Universal monster films. Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and Dracula. To me, you got to start there. I think that's the best place to start. The old original classic Universal monsters, because without them, I don't think there would be modern horror. As we know it. I don't. Who knows if we would even have horror without them? At least not as we know it today. And then I would move on to like the Hammer horror films from there. The Draculas and stuff like Plague of the Zombies and Vampire Lovers, you know, Prince of Darkness, and of course Curse of Frankenstein. All the Draculas and the Frankensteins from Hammer are just fantastic. And then after that, I would get into like Halloween and Psycho, and then maybe get into the slashers like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and all that stuff. And I think that's a great gateway to horror. And number five is you're stranded on Halloween night and you need a ride. Christine pulls up. That being Christine from the film Christine, based on the Stephen King novel. And yeah, the question is, are you getting in or will you be walking home? I would be running home actually because I think Christine would try to run me over. And I certainly would not get in the car because I'd probably end up dead that way as well. Okay, in at number six is if you were to get a Halloween themed tattoo, what would you get and where would you put it? I always wanted to get the Halloween 2 pumpkin skull. That there, yeah. I would love to get that one, like on my arms. Uh, I always wanted to get that one. I think it's such a cool design. So yeah, that's my answer. The Halloween 2 pumpkin skull. Number seven, do you prefer caramel apples or candy apples? I'd have to say honestly, neither. I don't really eat either one. It's really a little too sweet for me. I do love sweets, don't get me wrong, but that's just like a little bit too much for me. I don't really care for caramel or candy apples, stuff like that. Number eight is do you carve a jack-o'-lantern for Halloween? If so, do you carve it before or on Halloween night? Um, I'd say no on that. I don't really carve jack-o'-lanterns. I just kind of buy pumpkins from like the supermarket and like put them on the steps outside. That's about as far as I go with it. Number nine, what is a must-see movie for you to kick off the Halloween season or to watch on Halloween? Now, other than the obvious Halloween, of course, I am going to say Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. It's the ultimate monster mashup from Universal. And it features all the classic Universal monsters: Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, played by Bela Lugosi, and Lon Chaney as the Wolfman. You do have Glenn Strange as the Frankenstein's monster, who does a great job. He also played a monster in House of Dracula and House of Frankenstein as well, and he does a great job. And not only is it hilarious, you got the legendary Abbott and Costello, who are just at their best. It's just a great representation of the Universal monsters all together in one movie. I mean, can't beat it. It's the ultimate horror comedy. And number 10 is Halloween costume emojis. Describe what costume you will be wearing on Halloween through 3 to 4 emojis. Let me see if I can guess what your costume will be. I'd have to pass on that one because I don't really think I'm going to dress up for Halloween. I really don't too often. If I did something, it'd probably be just something for the channel. But I don't really plan on it, so I can't really answer that question in all honesty. Number 11 is Leatherface's chainsaw, Michael's knife, or Freddy's glove. What is your favorite signature weapon? Freddy's glove is the ultimate slasher weapon. I think it's it's the coolest, most original, most unique design for a slasher killer weapon. I think it's just so freaking cool, and I love it. Gotta be Freddy's glove, baby. When someone mentions the movie Trick or Treat, what movie do you think of first? Do you think of the 1986 Trick or Treat movie that was kind of like a heavy metal slash horror film, or Trick or Treat, the anthology film from 2000? Was it 2005? Was it 2007? I don't remember. But yeah, for me, it's going to be Trick or Treat. This movie right here is just great. I think it's one of the best anthology horror films of all time. It's set on Halloween, so what better way to celebrate Halloween than this awesome anthology film? It's definitely a must see for any horror fan. Period. Especially if you love anthology type horror films. Number 13 is top five songs in your spooky season playlist. um, I am going to pick the Halloween 2 score, the main theme for Halloween 2. I always love this, and yeah, I do prefer this over the original 1978 version. I just feel like it's bigger, it's more gothic, it's scarier sounding. It's just I love it, that kind of church organ sound, the synthesizers. I just love it. I think it's amazing. I think it's so scary. Number two is the Friday 13th Part 2. So similar case here. I feel like Friday 13th Part Two's version was bigger and more bombastic. You had a whole orchestra behind it. It's just amazing score by Henry Manfredini. And of course, the brilliant Nightmare on Elm Street main theme. Yeah, I mean this film is chock full of amazing scores, and I think it's just one of the greatest scores in horror history, especially that main theme. Do 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 do, just the creepiness, the atmosphere of it. You hear all this weird stuff like in the background. I love it. It's amazing. And believe it or not, Tenebrae is a it's kind of an odd choice, I guess. It almost sounds like a video game or something from the 1980s or 90s. But I just love it. You almost like want to dance to it. It's such a like catchy tune, but it's like it's a riot. I love it. And I'm going to say from the 2018 Halloween score, the Shape Hunts Allison. I thought that was such a great um, song. I think it's easily one of the best highlights of the Halloween 2018 film for me is that score, and especially that song. That song comes on when Michael's chasing Allison through the field. It's so intense, it's so scary and so suspenseful, and man, what a great job. And it really adds to the legacy of the Halloween franchise. Instead of just simply rehashing the original Halloween score like they've done so many times, it added something new. And I loved it. Something modern, really, really cool. I loved it. All right, guys. So that is it for the return of the Halloween tag by David Diggs. So everyone who I tagged, I hope you can do a response video, and let's just have some fun with this. It's such a great addition to the Halloween season. It's a great way to kick it off and to celebrate all things Halloween and October and All Hallows Eve. And thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared. Peace out, guys.
Good evening, folks, and we got some brand new merchandise for you over at www.thehorrorcona.com, and that's CONA.com. Representing the Horror Corner. Great new design. We got the Morbid Hour live stream there, you got the Horror Hangout live stream there, and you got my nemesis, the Dark Fate. So grab your t-shirt over at www.thehorrorcona.com. And we also got this beautiful new mug. Look at that. Very, very cool. Thought that came out really nice. So grab your merchandise today over at www.thehorrorcona.com.